hear me? Can you please put a 1 in the chat? This is like my third time doing this. Am I live? I'm live, I think. Okay. Hello, and welcome to the Sussex Studio Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Professor Zenzi. I see my girl, Connie Balmer, in the chat. Connie, hey, what's up? We have got a jam-packed episode, and I had to change everything, right, for this specific episode. So as you can see, the title of the episode is Harpo, Who That Woman? So, Meghan Markle, who is that? The intersectionality of it all, right? So I am going to get right into it right now. Let's see. I am going to begin as we generally begin with hellos. So hello. And I am going to get into our intersectional prayer and get into our grounding exercise for today. So if you are ready to begin that, we will get right to it. So first, welcome everyone to the Sussex Studio Podcast, to the Sussex Studio Experience Podcast, where we explore deep, meaningful conversations about our Duchess and how our Duchess intersects with other people. Today, we are going to be doing an episode that I had not planned on doing. I had the whole plan of doing the episode on King Charles, what about your friends? And so I decided, though, that this one was more important to do right now. I'm feeling a kind of way. So if you're feeling a kind of way, can you please say so in the chat? Connie Balmer, hey! Right? So I woke up this morning and the first thing that I did was I checked to see what happened at Trooping, right? And I'm like, oh my, it's not AI? Okay, that's interesting. And then I went back to a theory that I had months ago when this alleged disappearance happened. So I am wondering, so I made an image, as you guys can see on the screen, of a kind of before and after in my imagination, if you will. And so are you guys thinking that possibly it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things that have happened? But something that I noticed is that the face of the Princess of Wales, to me, looks quite different. Does it look refreshed? Does it look like something else happened? Does she look well rested? Could there possibly have been some tweaks that happened? And so when we think about the cancer treatment that has happened allegedly to the Princess of Wales, does that align with what we see? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it aligns allegedly with what I see, right? So when I see Kate Middleton today, the image of Kate looks a bit different than what I saw a few months ago. So here we are. So this is what the face looked like right previously, and the face looks more like the picture on the right today in my mind. So do you guys agree, disagree? How are you? What do you think about this episode? Would you rather do the other one? I think it's a bit too late for that. But yeah, so these things don't necessarily align in my mind. And so I went to look for photographic evidence and I came up with a few things, right? So I didn't create any of these that are up here on the screen right now. So we're going to be diving into Kate's return to the public eye, the swirling rumors about her health and surgeries, and the broader implications of truth, beauty, and societal expectations. We'll also be exploring how these issues intersect with Meghan with respect to race and class and how those things intersect, right? So, of course, today I composed for today's episode a poem. And you know what? A couple of things came to mind, and I'm not going to say the name of the song. But if you want to look it up, I am going to give our song, we do have a song of the day. And that song is by En Vogue, and we'll get to that. But I was also thinking about, there's this group called Fishbone, and they wrote this song, and you guys can look it up if you feel like it. But they played it, the Roots played it on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon when Michelle Bachmann came on the show, right? So, Connie Balmer, thank you so much. Yay! I really, really, really appreciate that. Wow, that's so wonderful. Thanks so much, Connie. Thanks so much, Connie. Thanks so much for all the ways that you support the channel. First one in the chat. You out here. You're out here throwing dollars. So, yes, we absolutely thank you and we appreciate you. Always, always, always. You are my girl. So, Fishbone has a song. If you want to look it up, you can look it up. They played it for Michelle Bachmann. It's a very controversial song with respect to the way they did it, right? So, if you care to do that, and then you can let me know what you think. So we're gonna start with the poem, in a kind of style of Kendrick Lamar's Euphoria. Hopefully, this captures the internal conflict that a woman might face when considering whether or not to not tell the truth about plastic surgery. Allegedly. In the mirror's gaze, a story unfolds of scars unseen and tales untold. In the realm of whispers, truth gets bent. In pursuit of beauty, a soul's lament. Eyes that judge, lips that shame. In this world, it's all a game to hide the marks of time's embrace, or wear them proudly on the face. A tuck, a lift, a fleeting chance to sway the world's cold, critical glance. Yet beneath the skin, in shadows deep, lies the wound that all the secrets keep. In Kendrick's rhythm, the truth finds light. In Euphoria, he calms his right to be herself or someone new, a choice, a lie. What to do? Oh, the dance of doubt and fear in a world that's never, ever clear. Cosmetic truths or the C word's plight. In the end, what feels right? From Baldwin's pen to Morrison's song, Angelo's strength helps her along. In the mirror's gaze, she stands alone, seeking the truth on her own throne. So anyway, there we are with that. So before we delve into our discussion, let us take a moment to ground ourselves. So we're going to do a grounding exercise today. Find a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in and out. Feel the ground beneath you or the chair beneath you, the air around you, and center your mind in this present moment. Okay, so let's offer a non-denominational prayer for clarity, compassion, and truth. Dear universe, grant us the wisdom to see beyond appearances, the compassion to understand each other's struggles, and the courage to speak and accept the truth. May we find peace in our hearts and strength in our unity. Amen. Okay, so let's get to it. Kate's public return and cancer diagnosis, right? So Kate's recent return to the public sphere has stirred a whirlwind of speculation and concern. Many have pointed to her noticeably different appearance, sparking rumors of an alleged cancer diagnosis and subsequent surgery. But what if there's more to this story? What do you guys think? Is there more to this story? Did you notice, was there a noticeable difference in the princess's physical appearance? And if you noticed a difference to Kate's physical appearance, what do you think that new look, if you will, can be attributed to? So, I have my ideas, and I feel like, or I think that there may have been a nip and or a tuck that allegedly could have happened, because the fresher face definitely, when as we age, our skin changes, our skin begins to droop, our skin begins to show signs of aging. And as far as I know, there is no miraculous cream that we can put on that will restore our skin to the way it looked 10 or 15 years ago. And so what I see when I look at the Princess of Wales is a very different look. And it has also been alleged that there may have been a tummy tuck. And so if there was a tummy tuck, along with whatever cancer procedure that has been alleged, then there could easily have been a complication. I know tummy tucks, anything to do with the tummy often comes with its complications. So people who have gastro bypass surgery, people who have tummy tucks, that whole process of healing takes a long time. And so do we see a distinct difference? I think I do see a distinct difference. Hey, Callie, how are you? Yes. So I see a distinct difference in the appearance of the Princess of Wales. Do you guys think you see a distinct difference? Or do you think it's just simply something like fillers and or Botox? Because imagine, so here's my thought. So I'm just gonna put my notes down for a second. So what I was thinking when I saw the Princess of Wales reappear, allegedly, is that what would it look like after, a month or 2 or 3 months to reappear looking very fresh-faced, right? And so a lot of women, for a lot of people, not even just women, because a lot of us have heard the whole BBL drizzy, Drake has, I believe, allegedly confirmed rumors about having a BBL and other plastic surgeries on his face and on his body. And so there's a stigma around that. And so is there the possibility that because of the stigma, the plastic surgery happened and there will be no confirmation? Could it be that there was only a plastic surgery allegedly? Or do you think that the plastic surgery was something that was done in conjunction with chemo and other surgeries? So let's see. Fillers and Botox, 100%. Botox and a facelift. Yes, I think that too. I think that it was likely, living in California, there are telltale secrets around the ears, from what I understand, that went, and at the base of the hairline. So that people out here who get plastic surgeries will often cover the baby hairs not so easily. They might use baby hairs. They might use thicker hair in the front so that those scars at the front of the face don't show. And also there are scars behind the ears that can also show. And for eyes, you might even notice a visible scar next to the eye for a lift. So, I've seen some bloggers out there talking about that they have noticed scars on the face of the Princess of Wales. And, so in our culture and in a lot of cultures around the world, there is a stigma around plastic surgery. So we have, fillers and Botox, we have Botox facelift, we have, like I said, I think it could be all three. I think it could be facelift, I think it could be facelift, fillers, and Botox, because they all do distinctly different things. So the jawline definitely looks, on this photograph that's side by side, right? The jawline looks very, very different. So that would be attributed, I think, to a lift. The fillers would add volume so that you don't see so much sag. And the Botox would get rid of a lot of the wrinkles. And so, again, when I'm looking, I'm not a plastic surgeon. But again, out here, it's very common practice. When I was a teacher, you'd see teachers coming to school. We had very good insurance. And they would, after summer break, when they got their 2 months off, they would come back and their faces would look distinctly different. A lot like this, like the lift, the Botox, and the fillers, to do three distinctly different things, right? So because to do a lift without the fillers, your face doesn't have the volume that's necessary. So I think it could be, a lot of those things, right? So I think it's a combination of all three. I'm so glad. Callie, I'm so glad. I noticed you yesterday at the close of the chat after I could no longer comment. And I'm just so thankful for you showing up and doing the work that you do. So let me say that. So how about if you vote for all three, put a 3 in the chat, right? If you like Botox fillers and facelift, 3, 2 different procedures, put a 2, and 1 procedure, put a 1 in the chat. So so what does it mean though if there's a possibility that these surgeries happened and there was no chemo, there was no, I've heard that rumor too, allegedly, that potentially lots of people believe that there was never any kind of cancer C-word treatment. What does that mean if that's the case? I think it says a lot about our society, and I think it says a lot about a person who feels like potentially that they would have to mask the truth around, feeling like you're getting older and not wanting to reveal that thing. But when there's a stark difference, I think that that's when the people are going to start speaking, right? Let's see, Connie, I can see part of it. If it was only cosmetic, when the rest of it comes up, I'll read that, okay? So, like I said, I see in my mind, at least with this image, I see the possibility of 3 different procedures. And I mean, you can see in the first photo that there's not the same amount of makeup, but the Botox will relax those muscles and make them flatten right around the eyes, the crow's feet, and those things. So that would be something that would happen, within hours if that procedure happened with respect to Botox. So if you see women show up and they have less wrinkles or none in their forehead and it doesn't seem to move, or if the crow's feet around the eyes and also the nose. There's also, I'm going to say I know a little bit about this again. There's also like a bump that people often get at the base of their nose when they've had too much Botox over the years. And it's something that doesn't go away. So like if you ever see women in Hollywood and they develop this kind of bump around, I think it's a bump around their, at the top of their nose, that at that ridge, that, often that's an indication that perhaps they have been using Botox for a number of years. So again, I think that it's all 3 potentially. And there is also, they're saying that there was treatment for the C word. And if that's the case, you're going to be looking with chemo treatments, those cells are literally being killed off. And so I can imagine a reason to get some work done if you can, although your skin is often like, it's going to appear ruddy, it's going to appear yellowish, it's going to appear different, and your hair too, it's not going to be shiny, it's going to lose and get really dull. So I could see a reason for adding hair extensions and trying to make yourself look better as a result of having to go through a kind of, chemotherapy. If it was only cosmetic, Connie says, they shouldn't have made a big deal because this is normal everywhere. I absolutely agree. If it was only cosmetic surgery, then that feels like a kind of betrayal, allegedly. And I'm going to keep using allegedly. That feels like, to me, it feels like a kind of betrayal to think that, a whole, not even a country, like the world to a large degree would be on high alert with respect to concern around what is happening potentially with the Princess of Wales. And if it's only cosmetic surgery and there's a shame around that and not wanting to reveal that, to me, that's a kind of terrible thing, right? So, Sharon, hello. Lydia, hello. If she did it, Connie says, there's going to be a lot of talk for a long time. Yeah, and let's just like hone in on that for a second. There's going to be a lot of talk for a long time. Do we really believe that, Connie? Because that's the intersection that I wanted to play with today. That intersection around race and gender and class. Because she seems to be the princess of choice with respect to the UK, right? They hold her in a certain kind of way. and they hold Meghan in a completely different kind of way. Would they protect her around this? I think they might. I think they absolutely might continue to protect her and continue to try and malign Meghan. I've seen articles around Meghan having veneers, and you look at her teeth and it's like, are you serious? Do you know what veneers look like? Denzel Washington has veneers. He has a gap, and he covered it up early in his career, and when he took it out for like Malcolm X. So when you look at his teeth without the veneers, you see he still has a gap that's there. So, and I think he's taken it out for at least one other movie, but yeah, or taken them out for another movie. So when people have veneers, often their teeth look like they're larger than most people's natural teeth appear. Meghan doesn't have teeth, to me, that look like she has had a layer, of veneers that have been put over them, right? So it's just like, whatever, right? And so, yeah, what do we say? Because whenever we say anything, and I do credit the Sussex Squad with shining a light on it, right? Shine a light on her disappearance for all of these months. And for me, it feels like a kind of like, what moment that you're showing up and you're looking like this. Why couldn't you have shown yourself 3 months ago? Why couldn't you have shown yourself, she's not going to be performing duties anymore until next year. So that is to put people on high alert, like an alarm goes off in my mind when I understand that I'm not going to see someone who is a public figure for a year, and we have not had a great explanation. And then they show up looking, fresh-faced and yeah, they show up looking like they're. And so here's another question that I plan to get to that just came up came up for me, right? So I'm not saying we maligned William, but if it is the case, allegedly, that there was only a kind of like, there's only a surgery that happened around plastic surgery. What should his reaction have been if this is what he believes the case to be? Do you think he would have been a little bit ticked off at being asked these kinds of questions if this was the underlying challenge? We've been told that it was the C word, and I am going on that narrative, right? I'm going with that narrative that it is also the C word. And for others, if it's not, what would you do if your partner had surgery on their face and didn't want to show themselves for, because they look different right away, and then they show up and what the truth is, right? So, Callie says, KP will probably issue a statement saying she didn't have a facelift, etc., etc. Right, so what is the truth? Like, plastic surgeons and other people who've had plastic surgery and people who have family and friends and know what this stuff looks like can see, right? Who should we believe, them or our lying eyes? But if you have a partner and your partner is showing up and the world is, everybody's eyes for the most part are down, and we're like looking, even like for me, I was really worried, concerned, sad, all of those things about the possibility that she was really, even the rumors that she might not be with us anymore. And so for William, I'm like giving him a little bit of grace, because if it is the case that plastic surgery was the culprit, allegedly, I'd be like, what? You want me to show up and do what? Like, what is his responsibility? What was he supposed to do? Let's see. Connie says, oh, Callie dear, it's so clear. There's going to be a comparison on both photos, and cosmetic doctors are going to talk. Absolutely. Cosmetic doctors are going to talk, and we are going to talk. I think KP would be better off to say that after all of the chemo therapy, Kate was feeling really, really bad about the condition of her face and decided to have some tweaks or something like that. Decided to have a procedure done that would make her feel better. And I think that could go a long way to helping other women who are dealing with the C word. There's also questions though about how things like the Juvederm, the Botox, injections, how do those things react with respect to certain kinds of chemotherapy medications? If anybody out there is a physician, if anybody out there is a cosmetic surgeon, or deals with any of these substances, a pharmacist who might have more knowledge, how could Juvederm, Botox, and other plastic surgeries interfere with the patient whose body was already fragile from having procedures around cancer, and or how does that affect chemotherapy? So, like we all in this country, I know it's weird if you live in other countries to see prescription medications on television, but in the United States, we have commercials all day long. If you watch TV, and or you may see, I don't know if you see them on YouTube in other countries, but talking about interactions between medications, chemotherapy is not something that anybody should take lightly. Is it recommended to have chemotherapy along with different kinds of injections? Right? So that's a big question that I have. What is that prevailing science? So if it is not recommended, if it is counter to treatment, if it causes a severe interaction, or what can we extrapolate from that data? Let's see. Kelly says, yes, Connie, but you know how they always deny. Um, and then Sylvia says, C is looking so refreshed, so youthful. Yeah, like it is not just like, to me, it doesn't look like a simple Botox procedure because of the jawline and the deeper wrinkles that are like the smile lines around the face, including the eyes and the cheeks. Like it looks to me like a lift around the jawline. And when you look at the photographs that they had up, from her on that tree that we've all seen before, when we look at, did she sneak to Montecito? I don't know, allegedly, right? But when we look at these things and we extrapolate and we start to enter science into the conversation, I have a friend who's an MD. I could, too late to call him and ask him, hey, what do you think about the interactions between these two medications? Because Juvederm and Botox are medications, right? And they would interact, and it could be potentially negative, their interactions with each other, because chemo is no joke. So, like, I was thinking all of these things. I'm going to go on to the next slide. Here's another one, like a compilation of just different pictures of her. And like, look at the one at the bottom in the center. These things, not only with respect to the makeup and the tanning, right? They make her look distinctly different. Her appearance has changed dramatically. And when I think back to the picture of the car, the woman in the car allegedly with her mom, that was attributed to being her, I started thinking about, okay, that could be true with respect to how the face could be swollen after having, some different procedures, because it doesn't look like it was just one. It looks like it could have been multiple. So if there were multiple procedures on the face, allegedly, would that cause her, I would say yes, it would cause her face to look very different and quite swollen. So if that was truly her in the car with her mom, it makes sense, right? That because, her lips are not particularly full. And from what I recall of that woman, I didn't put that photograph in the slideshow today, but from what I recall of the woman in the car with her mom, her lips also looked, quite thin at that time. And even on these pictures, her lips look a little bit fuller and so that would be an injection. That would be like an injectable that they would put in the lip to, a filler, like I don't know if it would be a Juvederm. I see Juvederm quite a bit, but so it just makes me curious. And so what is the impact on the psyche of a nation? What is the impact on the psyche of the world if this question begins to be explored more, and not only explored, if it becomes determinative, if the evidence comes out that it was actually a tummy tuck, which can be devastating. I had a member of my family pass away from a gastro bypass, right? So I understand that that can be deadly. So it can be, especially with how thin she appeared to be allegedly. So when you're messing around in that area, but so if you have and you want your tummy to look better, again, a couple of friends of mine from school had tummy tucks, and one of them said she was down even more than 2-3, not completely down, but she was still feeling sore more than 3 months after the surgery. And she said she didn't want to do any more surgeries ever again, just based on that tummy tuck. So that recovery process would take a lot longer, I think, than most surgeries with respect to the tummy. So, so that's what I'm looking at. I'm like, what is it? So again, I think I'm going to put a 3 in the chat to say, I think that there were, this chat takes a long time. I do not know what, but I just put a 3 in the chat to indicate that I think that she had the 3 procedures. She had potentially, allegedly, the fillers to make the more youthful baby face like appearance, the Botox to flatten the wrinkles, and the lift to change the appearance of the jawline and potentially the other crow's feet and other things around the eyes. So when they pull that head back, then that surgery, I haven't had done myself, but when they pull the face back for a lift, then they cut in the hairline so that you would have small-ish scars around there, because they need to literally pull it back and to remove some of the skin in order to pull it and make it more taut. So again, that's my vote. I put a 3 in the chat. And so I would appreciate you guys voting to say what you think, or you can put a 0 in the chat if you think she had absolutely nothing done and that I am just out here, which I have been known to be apparently, if I'm just out here speculating that and there's nothing. And so like if we go with the whole idea again that the C word, that she has been having chemo and potentially she feels bad because her face was looking a certain way or whatever, then so she did the chemo, and again their interaction. So that is also what sort of concerns me a bit too. Like, would you have chemotherapy and Juvederm? Would you have chemotherapy and Botox? Because they are, again, medication. So there's my 3. I don't see anybody else. So let's see. Alex says, the shape of Kate's nose looks modified. Yeah, so if they did rhinoplasty on top of all of that, because the nose, from what I understand, continues to grow. I was a biology major first in school. So if the nose continues to grow after, as we age, the nose is one thing that continues to grow, allegedly. I think that's what I remember. So if your nose is getting larger and you don't like the look of that, then you have like a rhinoplasty to make your nose, the appearance of your nose, look different. So that is also a possibility. Thank you. Yeah, all 3. And Yancy says 3. Thank you so much. Yeah, because it just looks like, as the kids would say, like, it looks a little bit sus. It looks like that's cap. Like you didn't have any face, plastic surgery. They just say cap, right? Cap. Or that's sus, like that's suspect. You guys you're lying, if you will. So that's what I see. I see like this whole look that could potentially be. And so why would, before I get back to everything that I planned on talking about, why would a woman in her case choose, if that's, we're not even going to say her, why would a woman choose, or a person choose to have plastic surgery as we age? So a lot of us would choose potentially to have plastic surgery if we are having marital issues and we want to remain in the marriage. I see Connie says, this Kate story is not going away anytime soon. No, I agree. I agree. So, like, if we decide to have plastic surgery as we age, why would we choose to do that? Sometimes, like, you want a new look because you're going to a class reunion, perhaps. You want a new look because you're having marital problems. You want a new look for yourself. Hopefully, that would be the case. That would be number one. Let's see. Faith says, I need a doctor to tell me how in the age Kate looks that good while on chemo. Absolutely. And so are we wrong to ask these questions? Is it insensitive of us? Callie says, I think whatever was done might not be cancer related. I don't believe the cancer story. Isn't that wild that, and again, what truths do we owe to, as public figures? Do we owe a truth to our nation? Is it the business of the subjects underneath Kate's father-in-law to know that she had plastic surgery? And on the flip side, if there were some mistruths told, is it what duty do they owe us, or not me? What duty do they owe their subjects with respect to saying if it's one thing and not the other, right? And so let's see. Connie says, to mention that look, she has to keep going for more sessions. That is exhausting. Yeah. So definitely for Botox and Juvederm. So you could see, like, if you look at people like, and I'll say people in the public that have had plastic surgery, Michael Jackson, we all know, right? And even Janet has had stuff done. So her face looks a lot more taut. She gets fillers. Lots of people, Angela Bassett has admitted to getting Botox and fillers. That's a normal practice. The facelift, that's something a little bit, it's a lot more heavy duty. You have to go under the knife and you have to recover, if you will. So yeah. So, I was sort of like torn about whether or not to have this conversation, but I was also like so like fired up because I feel like it is a necessary conversation to have with respect to this whole incident, because I also want to close the chapter on this subject. I don't want to be talking about folk outside the Sussex squad, if you will. And let's see. All for Sussex says, howdy, great to see y'all, and agree that it will require constant tweaks to compete with Meghan in the limelight, right? And so what they will do, allegedly, right, is to bait and switch. Meghan has veneers. Like, really, if Meghan had veneers, her teeth would look like a Colgate commercial. She's got beautiful teeth, and they don't look like that. There's been anything applied to them to make them all look exactly, like a denture, if you will. That's what veneers often look like. They look kind of like dentures, and the way they're making them now, you see a lot of celebrities and others getting them, and they make them really, really big. So that is not the case, right? So, like, what duty, though? If Michelle Obama, when she was the first lady, went in and had all these procedures done, was missing for 6 months, didn't show her face, and then showed up looking very different, and they said she had cancer, I would want to know who her C doctor was, right? Who is the person that's treating you, and what's in those bags, those drips, right? What is in the chemo drips? Is that something new that, as it kills off cells, it is also renewing cells? Because the look is so different in my mind, and I'm like, is that me, or is that me? Who should I believe? Like, are my eyes lying to me, or do you guys see what I see? So Connie says, it's our right to question her story. She looks different, could walk, so she isn't that bad. Yeah, so what is with the story that says she will no longer appear in the public until next year, and then a week later, we changed our mind, so here she is? Because it feels like, and allegedly, but to me it feels like there's the possibility that she didn't want to show herself based on people doing exactly what I'm doing right now, scrutinizing and questioning what is the truth. Because if you you look one way and then you show up, like we saw all the filters that they used on her face, right? We saw how she looked when she went to Denmark, and Denmark refused to use filters, so we saw her skin and how it actually looked. And now these pictures that we're seeing, it look to me like they're 10-15 years older, right? Like younger, like, yeah. So all of that, like she's 10-15 years younger. Told you the face is different. They lie. Absolutely. They are not. I just feel like, and it's not even feeling like, but I do have an emotion behind the seeing of her. Let me first say I'm glad that she's looking so well. Let me also say that I'm glad that she is among us, right? Because those rumors can, I believe, be put to rest, that she is no longer with us. But also, I am, I don't want to say concerned is not the right word. I am interested in knowing more. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued about a lot of things. I'm intrigued about, like, and again, you guys know me, I'm thinking about Kendrick Lamar. Remember Drake, when Kendrick was talking to Drake on Euphoria? If you guys happen to look it up, there's this whole thing. Drake apparently had these surgeries on his stomach, and he had a BBL, which is a Brazilian butt lift, and he's acknowledged those things. And so Kendrick is like, you lied about your surgeries. You lied about, and so it's like, what is the deal? Like the possibility that I've been, or that, we've been lied to, makes me feel some kind of way, right? Are you guys experiencing some of that too? Let's see. Rosa says, in other words, she doesn't have the C word. Callie says, they also said this appearance doesn't mean she's back permanent. Well, yeah, so disappearance doesn't mean that. I think that their number, I didn't spend a lot of time, I didn't spend actually any time watching Trooping at all, like zero. I went to different sites and saw how she was looking, and that's about it, right? And I found some old photos and some comparison photos and those things of that nature, but I'm not giving them any numbers. They, in my mind, they don't deserve numbers from me based on the way that they treat our Duchess, right? So I feel like you lied about your surgeries, like Kendrick, allegedly, like the story that I've been told does not sit well with me right now. And not only does it not sit well with me, it makes me feel, like troubled. Yeah, it makes me feel troubled. Like, what is, not that I'm not a member, I'm not a subject, but I do believe the Sussex Squad brought all of these things to their attention. I do believe the Sussex Squad kept them accountable, right? And so Casey says, her face is smaller all around, as if she had a total reconstruction surgery. Her nose looks more like Meghan's now, which would match the time that she has not been seen since Christmas. Absolutely. So how do you decide to show up with a new look, right? When you decide to show up with a new look, there are going to be questions. How do you justify your absence when you don't want to say, guys, I'm feeling really sort of poorly, I'm feeling really bad about, or I'm not feeling very confident after the chemo, during the chemo, if you will, right? Because we're going with that. I'm not, or at least I am going with that. So if those things are the case, of course, but wouldn't you help more people if you came out and said, I had this done, and so if you're experiencing this, Juvederm, Botox, and chemo can work well together, right? If that's the case. So can you help your subjects potentially feel better about their chemo treatments if it is the case that you've also had some tweaks done, right? And I think that she potentially could. I feel like she could make her subjects, and also like we wouldn't be questioning the things that are happening. And again, like back to William for a second, if you will, what was his responsibility? Does anybody out there feel like, if it is the case that there was no C word, if you will, do you think that we have been too harsh with respect to him if he understood all along what was actually happening? Let's see. Her face is smaller around, all around, as if she had total reconstruction. Her nose looks smaller. Okay, then we have what everyone can feel are the oh no. I didn't watch Trooping, says Callie. Marshar, hey. If Willie wasn't happy that Kate got more attention before, now she'll get it over him. What will he do? He can't compete with H&M nor his wife. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we understand that he and his father allegedly have that issue. Like, they want to be the star. You should hear that song. You don't have to be a star, baby, to be in my show. So Karen says, her skin is pulled really tight. I'm not glad. I don't like liars. They have played with people's emotions. This appearance is them testing the waters to see if people's reactions to figure the next lie. Yeah, so I mean, it is to me, it is just a kind of, I don't think that let me just say, I don't think there will be any kind of reckoning with respect to the truth being told. I don't think that the truth will out with respect to them. I do think that we'll be able to turn on different news sources and have people saying, I'm a plastic surgeon and this is the procedure that has been done. We'll be able to go to blogs and say, hear people talking about, hello, Professor Cindy, just want to introduce your new sub. I'm seeing some of my favorite Sussex squads in your community. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Palaver Girl, she's great. Glad you joined in. Thank you, Lydia Washington. Palaver Girl, she's great. Let's see. Yes, Marshar, hello. Karen says, that's why William was uncomfortable. Absolutely, I saw that. Like, that body language. That's why William was uncomfortable when people were asking him about her and sending best wishes, because he knew it was not true. Yeah, so imagine your spouse or your cousin or your sister or somebody, like, or your mom or whomever has said or done something and it's not what they say it is, and so he did not dignify it, if you will, with the response. He did not dignify any of it with the response, if that's the case. And if that's the case, then I think people will look to him and his light will be brighter as a result, could potentially be brighter as a result of all of this, if it is what some people suspect. Because, like, by him not saying, I don't know if he ever said once that she's recovering from the C word. I don't recall him ever saying that. And, like, people, probably including myself, were like, what is up with him? How come, and assuming that it was because, and would that drive some people to drink? Absolutely. Having to hold up an untruth about anything and having people speculate about the health of your partner if allegedly those things are not true. And then they're coming to you with cameras in your face. Like, what do you say? Do you uphold that story? Do you say, nah, actually, this is what happened? And I think in some ways, if it is true that there was never any C word, she could be done. That would be a reason for a divorce. Like, nope, you lied about your surgeries, Kendrick Lamar, right? And so, and if she's asked if she had surgery on her face or reconstruct or whatever, plastic, reconstructive, facelift, whatever she had, and she doesn't tell the truth, is that a reason for a divorce? I think potentially. I think that he could potentially be seen a lot better, if you will, around all of these things. Callie says, yes, she could be forthcoming, but they have positioned her as a perfect English rose, so they will never admit it. Do you guys think, scholars, and welcome to all the new Sussex Squad members, like, we be in here just doing what we do. But yeah, and remember, there are 42 ways, according to Toni Morrison, of using invariant be. Shout out to Black English. Ave. Yay. So anyway, yeah, so imagine if you're him and you're expected to uphold an untruth. I think, I'm going to say, I think it makes him look better for not dignifying it, not justifying it. And if he wants a divorce, I think they will do whatever they need to do for her until, and unless and until it comes to him wanting to and saying, like, drawing a line in the sand and saying, I'm done. I think once he draws a line in the sand and says, I'm done with this marriage, if that happens, it will be not unlike, Prince Charles when he was Prince Charles and Princess Diana when they got their divorce. I think that the people will side with him and she will maybe be maligned like Princess Diana, which in some ways is in a lot of ways is very sad if that happens to be the case, right? But I think, from the position where I sit, it will not favor her. So Connie says, next will be Gladys going for a facelift. Casey says, I feel like Willie caused major injuries to her. Ooh, back in December when someone was rushed to the hospital from Balmoral. Ooh, so then that definitely takes away from whatever that he, whatever credibility that perhaps he could have gotten. And at the same time, I think simultaneously, they will side with him. They will side with him in the same way that they sided with Charles in the divorce, right? It was only after, from my recollection, that she was no longer with us that the people started taking a different look at themselves. Like, they started reflecting after that terrible accident that happened. And so that's a possibility that thing could continue, that it could continue, and that I think they will side with William. Am I wrong? Like, you guys, how many of you think, or say in the chat if you think? I'm normally a very silent watcher. I rarely comment on any of the channels. Hello, Casey, please comment. We need your voices. When I used to be we need your voice specifically. When I was a teacher, I used to tell my 7th graders, when I was a 7th grade teacher, in fact, I would tell my kiddos that, hey, especially when you're on the edge of your seat and there's that one thing you want to say, you're making us miss out on something that could potentially change the entire dialogue and change the way we're thinking. And so, can we use that morsel? Absolutely. So please, please share and welcome. Marshar says, now they've showed Kate's proof of life. Willie can work on divorce. If C-word is a lie, is exposed, Willie will have a cause to divorce. Absolutely. She isn't, she isn't clear from it. She allowed herself to be set up. Yep, that's what I see too. It feels like she, oh no, Ron. Okay, so I don't think lying is difficult for Sway. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. Connie Barmo says, Professor Zimzi, I will watch. Okay, Connie, I know it's so late over there. We will miss you, Connie. We will miss you. Get some rest. Yeah, so thank you, Lydia, for welcoming KC. Yeah, so I think I agree. The crown will always be protected no matter what. Absolutely. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for the emojis. Yeah, so I think that when people think they're being slick, right? When people think they're getting away with something, in this world that we live in today, and even in the past, the truth will out. We are still recovering dinosaur bones and lost people who have been put into ice thousands of years ago. Karen says, William didn't do anything to her. Don't make any excuses for her. She wanted to look like Princess Meghan. Now she's cosplaying her face, sad woman. Could it be a combination? I'm going to play intermediary. I don't know. Could it be a combination of her? Yeah. It could be something could have happened, right? And while I'm under, hook me up. I want this, I want that. If I'm going to do this. And I think for a lot of women, for a lot of people as we age, I wouldn't mind having some tweaks. Like that looks a little low, like um I saw this thing, yeah. I'm not gonna say, do your blanks hang low? Can you tie them in a bow? Can you flip them over your shoulder? That's how it goes. Can you flip them over your shoulder? Callie says, yes, they will always support the heir. Women who marry in are not protected. Kitty is still considered an outsider. Very much so. Very much so. I think that no matter what she does, she will always be 1,000, however many steps a Google below the Prince of Wales. Like Princess Diana was the people's princess. And at the same time, what did the people do? I don't know that there was a public outcry. I don't recall a public outcry when Princess Diana did not a huge one, get her protection, right? And so even they were allowed to do the same thing to Harry. We will never do this to Prince Harry. We will never do this to, we know that William was always going to have protection, but we were never going to do this to Prince Harry. He will always, and then what did he do? He married the wonderful, beautiful Duchess Meghan. And after he did that, then, all bets are off. So Marshall says, Cromilla isn't finished with Kate. She will get her, oof. And that whole thing, like we watch. That woman is something. That woman is something. And Palaver Girl says that Kate is cosplaying. And again, like when we get into our psychology bag, what must that be like to feel like you have to walk around and try and imitate somebody else? Like the fact that you don't potentially have enough confidence in yourself to carry out and walk in your own lane, to walk in your own shoes and figure out who you are, right? And that is so damaging to the psyche. And like you're raising kiddos who are going to be affected by that as well, right? So Katie's cosplaying Princess Meghan again. The clothes, the bench, the tree, now the face. It is sad. I think it's sad for her. I do. It looks like laser resurfacing for her. Oh, resurfacing for her face and Botox and a necklace. Yeah, so it's 3. I think it's 3 or more. So 3+, Charlie says. Thank you, Karen Warner. Thank you, Karen Warner. I am Meghan Markle. Can I get an I am Meghan Markle in the chat? Like Prince Harry said, only my wife looks like my wife. Absolutely. And we are here because we love the Duchess. And, we finally got at least one major answer to a question answered today. We see, at least we think we see, I see that she is on the planet Earth and that she looks healthy. That's what I see. I think she looks healthy and I think she looks different, but I think she definitely looks healthy. Now people are talking about her relationship with her husband and all of those things. Yes, we're talking about, let's see. Kenneth or Ash says, Kate is not as innocent as she wants people to believe. And I think, yeah, how sad must that be to have someone who functions almost as a sibling have the attention of the world if you are an attention seeker. So if you're someone who and it seems like there's a pressure potentially in that family to want people's attention, right? And like everybody, the whole world's not like that. A lot of us are, introverts and get our own energy from ourselves mostly. And thank you, Callie. Casey, I'll never make excuses. I'm just waiting for the royal R word being connected to the Jeff. Ooh, now that's some smoke to resurface now that she's back. So you think that rumor will come back? You think that, so you think the yacht rumors are going to resurface? I think it's going to, if he wants a divorce and she refuses, do you think that it causes more harm to the crown, to the monarchy, if those unconfirmed rumors are actually confirmed in the media by, peer-reviewed sources, by like if there are citations that we can go to see if there's evidence, things, documentation put in evidence, right? Do you think that the crown is better off for knowing that she participated in any of these things? It is interesting. Thank you, Callie. I am Meghan Markle. Casey, so if you're new to the channel, we all say, I am Meghan Markle, right? Because we are. We have taken on the challenges that our Duchess, our Princess, our Queen, our Queen faces, and we feel connected. We are connected. And in fact, we are Meghan in this space. And we are all of us, right? So I am, and I am, all of these things. And so thank you, KC. Thank you, Rosa Roberts. I am Princess Meghan. Marshar says, if Kitty is smart, she should stay visible to the public. Absolutely. William is not happy with her being this popular. It'll be very interesting to see how they are together publicly. So, and is that a lesson that he got from his father? That if you're what normally it's like most the men that I know for the most part don't necessarily seek the sunlight, right? When they have a partner, they're perfectly fine to let their partner shine, right? Oh, babe, you look good in that, or sweetie, or honey, you look really good in that. It's not the men, but it seems like in the case of that family, that for them, the men in that family really want the limelight. My question, though, happens to be, if you want the limelight, if you want the sunlight, what seeds are you planting for this, the sun to help reap, right? What are you throwing? What are you sowing out there to be reaped in the, in the harvest, right? So why would people want to seek you out if when you're in public, they don't see a lot of things happening? They don't see a lot of deeds. Thank you, Connie. Casey, yes, the list. There may be connections to Andrew. That is horrible, right? If that is the case. Sylvia says, I am Meghan Markle. Marshar says, I am Meghan Markle. I am Marshar. Dead or alive. Thank you, Marshar. Nobody wants to end up on the wrong side of Marshar and we all love Marshar. She is such a ride or die, right? She is always effectively bringing that heat in this space because often we need that. And so, like, if William, allegedly, hold on, Karen says, that's why I know the country shop was not her, because the cheekbones were too high and the face was too pointed. Now seeing this face, I have to say it was her. She was part of this game, not innocent. I'm putting down my tablet where I have all of the entire show planned and taking a deep, I'm going to ask everybody to take a deep breath. Inhale. Ooh, exhale. Ooh, inhale again. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Empty. 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going to take one myself and read that again. That is why I know the country shop was not her, because the cheekbones was too high and the face was too pointed. Now seeing this face, I have to say it was her. And the final part, she was part of this game, not innocent. That's wild. That is wild. That is so wild. Like when we pull ourselves back and we get perspective on this whole thing, right? All I have are questions. I'm going to go back to the original thumbnail, right? Up here, that all I have are questions. Sylvia Fielder says, yes, that's when the royal rota started slowly dragging her again. Yeah, and again, I put up a line. If you know the color purple, Harpo, who that woman? That was Sophia, right? When she came home from having been imprisoned for Miss Millie, right? Miss Millie. Hoppo. I mean, no, that was that was Squeak. When when Sophia showed up at the juke joint. Wrong reference. Yeah, Sophia said, y'all don't remembers me no more. Anyway, Hoppo, who that woman? Like, it is, and it is also interesting, not even just on the physical, right? Because we can look at the face and we can see a distinct difference in the way the face looked. We see that it's higher, we see that it is more full. We even see that there's some kind of either tan or spray tan or something potentially that was used to make her skin look, more like it was kissed by the sun, if you will, and healthy. It's not yellow, it's not ruddy, it's not dry. The hair doesn't look, so dry. And we also understand this isn't actually like pictures from today, but we also understand that, her hair looked shiny to me today. It looked really brilliant and shiny today. And so, like, what does that mean? But what does that mean, specifically internally also? What does it mean if we are okay with that? If we're okay with telling stories to the public, if we are okay, if we feel like it's okay to do these things and not reveal our truths, what does it say about how we are on the inside? It says, I think, a lot of things if some of the things that we are saying are potentially true. Does it say that we're empty? Does it say that we're sad? Does it say that, like, we're unhappy? Like, what does it say if this is a ruse, right? Let's see. Sylvia says, KC, I saw a podcaster around the list. It was on USA News. Then there was no list. Which one was that, Casey? I'm sorry, Sylvia. Marsha said, I just woke from a long nap, so I'm on the go to Dragon Kate. Yeah, because what are we teaching as we move around in the world? If we are teaching people that we're not strong enough to tell our truths, and it's not like you're just, a regular person walking around in the world. Is there no assistance? We understand from our princess, our queen, our duchess, that when she was having mental health struggles, that there was no one that she could call on to discuss her challenges, that she was left to try and figure out her mental health on her own. And so if you are the Princess of Wales and you're walking around, is that also the case? Callie says, so I wonder why they were soft launching Rose Hanbury then. That's an interesting question. Rosa says, we have not forgotten Kate and William, and Jason Kay was behind Meghan's court case about her letter to her father. We should not forget. Yeah, they will do, it feels like, it looks like anything for the crown, right? And so Meghan, because she is the latest outsider that has entered that family, we really only had, if you don't consider the marriages of the older people, right? The queen's children, and you only look to the two children of Princess Diana, she's an outsider in a lot of ways. And they have ravaged her in the media. They have savaged her in the media. It has been one of the harshest things that I've ever witnessed in my life, to watch this woman being savaged every day. For what? For what? For daring to fall in love and marry a person who simultaneously fell in love and wanted to marry her. So this is her crime. Crime of being a foreigner, the xenophobia, the racism, I think, is at the apex of it. You've got African blood. No, you can pass for white. No, you've got African blood. Like, say it. Which one is it? You're a descendant of Africa, right? And so we will attack you any which way we can. Whatever way we feel like making a point, we will. It doesn't matter if these 2 things, 3 things, 102 things are at odds, and we say different things on different days. We are going to attack you because we can. And that is what happened with our Duchess, with our princess, with our queen. And so we came about by saying, no, not today, Satan. You're not going to. We recognize that. It is cruel and unusual punishment. What has she done? And not only that, you allowed a kind of terrorism to happen around Meghan. It has been a terrorism of the media. They have terrorized her, right? And so every single day in the media, and it is like, and not only have they done that, but in the process of terrorizing her, and I'll say allegedly, but that's what I've seen, in the process of terrorizing her, you have radicalized a whole country of people. And now you're trying to come on shore over here. You know, a whole country of people are united almost, it seems at least, against her. For what? What does it mean to be radicalized? What does that look like? Oh, I think I know. I see it in the media every day. Everything she does, you find a way to turn it to something, or to try and turn it to something else. Unless it suits you, and unless and until it suits you. So 3 months down the line, whatever she was doing for a whale child, or whatever Prince Harry was doing, as long as it suits you, you'll use it. But if he's doing it or she's doing it, then there has to be an agenda. Well, let me tell you something. There's an agenda to everything we do. When we wake up and we wipe the crust from our eyes, there's an agenda. We don't want it on our face. You know, it hurts. It feels disgusting. Whatever that is, there is an agenda to everything we do. But you will try and make her agenda be something that is disdainful. But not with the squad present. We will not allow that. We see you. You did the same thing to Princess Diana. You've done the same thing in the United States to President Barack Obama. We watched you with all the birtherism claims. Where is his birth certificate? His mother sneaked out. What'd you do to Meghan? Oh, she really Nigerian? That can't be. Let me tell you something. You don't know what mixed black people look like. Again, Sade is half Nigerian and half Caucasian, right? Palaver Girl says, literally, Meghan's next book should be, which is it? What you want from me? Yeah, absolutely. And Karen Warner says, how can a woman who have 3 children with no hair loss have preventative treatment with no hair loss, but more hair in both cases than she started with before marriage? As a hairstylist, not normal. Yeah, she does. Like, if you see the actual pictures of her today, well, you know, if Rapunzel was in bed for a year growing out that hair and having, you know, all these treatments, could that be the case? Thank you so much, Sylvia Fielder. Yay. Yay, we really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really do, right? I love these things that they put out there. These, what are they called? Emotes. I think they're called emotes. These emotes are amazing. I love the snaps. Like, we can all do some snaps, right? Just like we're at a poetry slam. Yeah, so her hair, she has more than she started with. And so with respect to the Duchess, right? You malign her. And I'm over it. I am so sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm so tired of seeing the same old trolls, right? Let's see. Nothing you say or do ever makes sense. And down at SQ, don't waste your time. I missed part of that. I'm so sorry. Kelly says, Diana was an aristocrat. She was beautiful. She was compassionate. If they were ever going to treat someone kind, it would have been her. I feel for Meghan. She believed that they would protect her. Yes. And Diana was, you know, she redefined what it meant to be a royal. She redefined what it meant to work with babies who had AIDS, right? Because there was no cure at the time Diana was out here doing a lot of the work she was doing. And people were afraid. These babies were not being held. Can you imagine dying from, like, not having the touch of your mom? You know, you see other kids or whatever the case is, and you know babies need to be held. Babies need to be swaddled. And when these babies, it was discovered that they had AIDS, People were afraid, we've been through COVID, that they would catch it somehow. Nobody wanted to catch, that disease, if you will. At that time, there was such a stigma. And she went and held babies. She went and held space for people. She was the people's princess in so many ways, period. And Charles wasn't going to do that work, apparently, because he didn't do it. He didn't do that work. And he also wanted, allegedly, the same kind of glory. Well, dang, if you want the glory, get on the horse and ride out and do the thing. Ride out and do the thing. Karen says, when they were stressing Princess Meghan out over there, she had started losing her hair. Yeah, and we know Meghan has like the most gorgeous tresses. She's got beautiful hair. I wish she would wear curly sometimes, because we've seen her hair like as a high school princess, if you will. Just gorgeous, gorgeous curls. We've seen her on video with her hair wet and curly, and it's absolutely stunning. And we've also seen people cosplaying her different hairstyles, and sorry, she just has that naturally. And if she decides when she turns 50 that she wants to do some tweaks, good for Meghan. If that's her business, right? And I think she will be honest about it, if you will. Because, like, what is there something to hide? Like, how do you help people if you say, I'm going through this thing and this helped me feel better? I had this procedure and this helped, right? I think people would be more in favor, and people will ride for you harder if you're honest with them. If you're honest with us about the things that you've done. And I think that that's part of the issue. Yeah, she looks younger and fresher face now than she did before disappearing for 6 months. 6 months to heal from the facial scarring or a facelift. And if that's the case, and that's what that's what I think I see, right? My lying eyes are telling me that she's had 3 or 4 resurfacing just came up. 3 or 4 different procedures. And probably she's had some other aesthetic procedures, done, and masks and glaze to keep herself looking that way. And it also looks like she's either gotten a tan or spray tan or something else to make her skin look also more healthy. She doesn't look like the yellow that we often see with people who are having chemotherapy, in my mind. Am I vicious? Am I horrible for saying these things? Potentially, I hope not, right? Potentially, I hope not. Marshar says, at one point, while in the carriage, Kate looked deep in thought. Then she noticed the camera. She had a huge smile. She's still horribly thin, but we'll see if she survives. We will. We will. And will she survive this marriage? If he is this unhappy as he looks often when he is in the public space. We've seen him swaying at different events. We've seen him dropping things at different events. That would make me sway, and probably, I might even want to take a swallow of some alcohol if, I'm not going to say that. I don't make that a practice, but like, I can understand why someone would self-medicate. I believe the C story was, I think maybe it said untrue. She looks like she had a chemical peel and a facelift, April May says. Karen says, when you start getting children, your hair starts to thin out a bit. And this woman had 3 and shoot more hair. Then this woman have better genes than me with thick curly hair. Or Princess Meghan, yeah, her hair is really, really thick today. And it looks shiny. It doesn't look brittle, right? And if we've had family members or friends or ourselves have had chemotherapy, we understand what that looks like. The hair gets super thin and brittle, and it even often changes texture after chemotherapy, right? Palaver Girl says, you're exactly right, Professor. Meghan would have worn the silk scarves and the videos to encourage cancer patients. She'd have made a guide for safe cosmetic surgery. Absolutely. And I think she would also have done all of those things. Absolutely. And had protocols or asked you, right? She'd have had a disclaimer that says, talk to your doctor, speak to your doctor before, this is what I did. Speak to your doctor before engaging in any of these procedures, as the side effects of from even a chemical peel on the skin of a cancer patient, I don't know that that's wise, right? I don't know that that's wise that a cancer patient would have chemical peels on their fragile skin, right? And so you know, I don't know that that's would I know Meghan would have had colorful scarves, like you said. I know Meghan would have had, like, she would have been out here, like, stunting, if you will, in a good way, to show, like, what the possibilities are, how good you can look. She would have had fashionable scarves, you know, and even if she was, like, looking frail, she would have shown herself to show other people, this is how you look on your bad days, I believe, and this is how you can look on your good days. Right? And I think for, you know, and I do have a little bit of compassion for William, but you guys know I have that disease sometimes of trying to, like, but if you're asked, if it is, you know, as some of us are alleging, if it is potentially the case, or playing devil's advocate, that this thing happened this way, right? What is William supposed to say if he knows that there's a different story? Man, I'd be ticked. Like, nope, not lying for you today, right? Just not gonna do it. And Valerie says, William looked miserable in the carriage ride with his wife. Time will tell what the end game will be for these people. Would we look miserable in the carriage, in a car, on a house, with a mouse, with our spouses, if they were telling a half-truth about something? If, you know, and the preventative chemotherapy, I have been told that it can happen with people who are precancerous and have, like, certain cells. It doesn't, though, look like the way that they've described things are adding up, right? It doesn't look like physicians are saying that, yeah, this is a typical course and these things are what you can expect to happen, right? And so what do we expect? And I'm not a subject, but if it were Jill Biden, for example, you know, Dr. Jill Biden, the first lady, going through these things, is it her responsibility to help the people in the United States deal with cancer? No, it's not her responsibility, but she might consider it her duty, right? She might say, you know what, I feel like this is my duty to allow the people to see me and to walk with me in this journey. And so I remember early on thinking that it could potentially be plastic surgery. And then I remember also feeling shamed about, why are you questioning, you know, because there was this whole shaming of the public around the, you know, Kate. There was a whole shaming around where she is, and she has the C word, she's got cancer, don't say anything about her, that's bullying. Really? No, let me show you what bullying is. I can show you in The Guardian, in The Sun, in the Daily Mail, or the Daily Fail. I can show you in all of these articles, in all of these newspapers, in all of these blogs, what bullying is. Lady D, you know, a lady from Lady D, and I'm going to say Lady D. You can think of a word to fill in there. That whole thing that person does, and all of these blogs, right? Lies. You lied about the Duchess. You lie. And at the same time, you cosplay her. Like, pick a side. Like, is it today I'm going to lie and tomorrow I'm going to copy? That's what it feels like. Right? Marshar says, Willie can't be a divorced king. And to remarry as king, he can't have a live ex-wife. Diana said, my husband is planning an accident in my car, so she better watch out. Yeah, because, like, if that's a wild thing to even think about, right, Marshar? That is a very wild thing to think about. And he has children, 3 with this woman. He has 3. And so we can see that if what a lot of us think is true, he didn't go along with the story. Period. He hasn't gone along with what has been said around the C word. And that's been a really curious thing. The curious case of William, right? The curious case, like, and he was demonized, and I'm sure I was one of the people. I know I was, who said, how come he wasn't at that? We didn't see him at the hospital. We didn't see him doing this. We didn't see him doing that. We don't hear him talking about her. What's up? Do you care about this woman? And then when she shows up, like the whole picture of her skipping it. Why couldn't she skip in the market then? Like, what would have kept her? And they never explained about the woman skipping in the market. And then we see this whole frail looking photograph, or not photograph, this whole frail looking, multiple photographs, right? This whole frail looking video come out of her looking, like an AI character, looking extremely pale. Like her skin was white as if she was, not going to be with us much longer, allegedly. Like that's what she looked like. She was like a ghost in that unmoving field on that bench that looked very familiar to a lot of us, right? Now she's under the tree, the weeping willow, if you will. But that whole image, and then so I'm like, is she here? Where is she? If this is the case, where this woman at, right? Karen says, this woman wants the throne and would do anything for it. She ain't going nowhere. Stop the divorce talk. I would be surprised William stuck with her. But is he though, Karen? Do you think that the challenge? Yes, I mean, I do think, like, with the mom and the dad and the whole plotting and the whole changing of schools or whatever, going to this school to see if, because she was clearly very beautiful as a young person, right? So maybe she could attract him, and she did. And so will she go gently into that good night? Will she, if he wants a divorce, would he do that? And Marsha's like, no, that's not a possibility. But would he divorce her if it was a possibility? And then what? I don't think she wants that. I think she wants her name written in the record books. But I don't know this woman personally, right? I don't know her personally, but I do know that I know what I see. And it looks like I'm seeing a lot of shenanigans going on. Am I wrong for believing my lying eyes? Am I supposed to just sit and believe what they tell me? I don't think so. If it doesn't, it doesn't add up. 1 plus 1 plus, 7 plus 19 ain't 3, right? It's not adding up. What is the truth? And if the simple truth is that I was feeling bad and I decided that I wanted to do a procedure or multiple procedures, or I was feeling bad after having the chemo, right? And I wanted to have a procedure or some procedures, right? I just don't know, right? I just don't know what the case is with respect to her. And so we will be shamed, right? Because I'm feeling a little bit like ashamed of having this conversation, and at the same time, if it is what they say it is, right? Because there's a possibility that it is what they say it is, that she has been sick with cancer. But the beauty, the tweaking of the face and those things, they still don't add up to me. Like, if she had the C word, did she, have some revitalization to her tummy? A tummy tuck, because when people have, more than one kid, even one kid, your belly can look, off. But if you, for you, like for people, like, your belly cannot look the way you want it to look aesthetically. And if you have done that 3 times or 4 times, for a lot of people who don't work out specifically, right? Then, and even for people who do, it still doesn't, you still want to have some tweaks done because the skin is doing this or that. And we do live in a kind of world that says we're supposed to be young at all costs. We're supposed to be beautiful at all costs. We're supposed to be thin. We're supposed to be perfect, right? And when you're in that position, people do pay a lot of attention. And I don't know that I've seen her in 5 years without a filter on her face. And so, we've talked, previously about what that means. Like when the whole Tatler came out with her portrait painted and it didn't look like her. My question, one of the questions that I had was, is this any more different in reality than the picture of Kate that we actually see? Is it? Like, is that what you guys see? My French is very bad. um, she resembles a woman, a black woman that, um, I'm sorry, something MB. I'm so sorry. Charlotte says, Palaver Girl says, oh, she's good, good, thank you. Callie says he didn't want to have to answer too many. Yes, he didn't want to have to answer too many questions, so he didn't do too many engagements. Mind you, to skip engagements was probably an easy decision. And if he had to do that, like, do we have? I haven't seen much compassion still for him. But if he had to do that, like the skipping, I don't want to be asked any about these garbage questions around her health if it is something different, allegedly, right? If it is not what y'all saying it is, and I know the truth will out eventually. And do I really want to get caught up in all of this? And she's out here getting awards for being daughter-in-law of the year and etc. Kate may have agreed to William to having Rose in exchange for him not divorcing her. She has too much to lose in divorce, the crown. And would she potentially lose her security? Right? Could she? I mean, she could. We know that. We know that that's a potential because we saw Prince Harry lose his and we saw Princess Diana lose hers. If you are not first in line, or if you are not going to inherit the crown, it doesn't seem like, in my mind, I don't see that a lot of care happens to people who are not going to be king or queen. And so Prince Harry, nope, you don't need your security. Princess Diana, nah, you ain't gonna be queen. Never mind. We're gonna take that too. So there doesn't seem to me to be a lot of care around other people who are not going to inherit the crown. And I think that that's ridiculous with all the money that gets taken. And again, none of mine, right? Unless I go over for a visit, they're not taking any of my money. So, I can have an opinion from over here. But like if Prince Harry, how much really would that cost for each citizen? A dime a year, something like that. For all of the people who are, I don't know how many people are in the UK. Is it 40 million? Is it, I don't know what that number of citizens is that are paying taxes. But probably it wouldn't cost more than a quarter or a dollar at most. You see, I'm going up. A dollar, it's not going to cost $30 million. It's not going to cost probably $15 million. So maybe a dime a year from each person to protect Harry and his children. Maybe, at most a quarter to protect the kiddos. So he's doing that himself, right? Something the way they rolled out, Callie says on the photos, video, etc. Marshall says that under the swamp tree. Oh, that under the swamp tree AI pic of Kate looking to heaven bound, waiting for the light, is showing us where to find the body. Oh, so you don't think that was her? you don't think that was the Princess of Wales? I mean, like when I saw that, it did like make me think of a weeping willow that I've seen in another up in Harry and Meghan's yard, right? They have, I think it's a weeping willow, but the one that Kate had, I believe it was definitely a weeping willow tree. And so, yeah, like it is just like, is it that we just notice these things? Like, or is it like dang, out of all the trees in the world, it could be a cypress tree, it could be, a gorgeous lilac bush that looks like a tree, a jacaranda tree, it could be like, a Japanese maple tree. I don't think that we're exaggerating or extrapolating too much. I think that it does feel like trolling. Am I wrong? Like, please tell me I'm wrong, because it feels like that. Kelly says if she loses her security, she better never leave the UK. I don't think they want anything to happen on UK soil, so she might be safe there. That is wild. Because I think I'm going to take another deep breath just for a second. Like, inhale. Ooh. Don't want anything to happen to that woman, to her. Like, don't want anything to happen. We've seen it, though. We've seen how it played out. And we saw how the mistress, whatever the queen wanted, when the queen was, after the queen's, her husband passed away, everything changed. Because whatever her husband did or didn't do in his life with other women, allegedly, right? He was by her side and helped her and he protected her from trolls in the family, allegedly. It looked that way to me. Like, they didn't come for her as long as he was alive. And I'm sure she knew that, right? That's the way it looked. And Prince Harry talked about, his grandmother and her not being protected, if memory serves, right? And so, yeah, we saw, like, all of the sudden, oh, she's going to have the name Queen. I will never use that name unless I forget, right? I will never call his wife Queen. I just refuse. I can't. Like, it's just, oof. I just don't think it's right for her to be called Queen. And I think that the Queen was possibly in a vulnerable state, probably allegedly in a vulnerable state, and they took advantage. Karen says, was no corner to really turn because we're being manipulated. I look at Princess Charlene of Monaco, us different comeback. I do feel like we're being manipulated. Marshall says that go to the light pic of Kate wasn't real. Computer generated and clipped and paste. Again, Kate is complicit with the nonsense and deserves her karma. Liars cause damage, especially for, I can't see the rest of it. But that's wild if that's the case. If it is the case that she's complicit, what happens to a kingdom when the next in line to be queen does these things? And they will, like, I'm telling you, they've already tried to look at our medical records. There's no telling if they were opened. So when people saw her medical records, what did they say? Because the same thing happened over here to people's passports. I remember President Obama, people tried to look at his and got information and ended up going, I think maybe to jail, I don't know. But it is a big deal to try and go through people's medical records and ours and all of it. But, if they looked, what kept them from seeing? And we also understand that generally, I don't care how electronic files work, those paper files have not been destroyed. There are paper files that exist in some building that some people have access and can get, right? So if those paper files exist in, somebody knows the truth. Some people know the truth because they can't perform a surgery, any kind, without paperwork, right? And so I know we've moved on to digital files, but I'm talking about, like, yes, somewhere these files often exist in two different forms. And so, and people have access, and as long as people have access in paperwork, there's always the risk that these things will come to light. But for older files, those things never go away. So let's say for things 10 years older or longer, then those files will never go away. They will be, and they'll eventually be put on microfiche, if you will. But that's how that works. They preserve them digitally, but they often also preserve them in another way where they can also be accessed in case something happens to an electronic record. Charlotte says, I'm sorry. Palaver. Okay, you guys are, okay, I'm going to stay out of that. So, yeah, my French is very bad. But yeah, so with all of these things that have happened with respect to the Princess of Wales, it does beg the question, what does our government owe us? And in the case of a monarchy, I always compare it to a presidency. And we haven't had a king since King George, and we all know what happened, at the Boston Tea Party, right? Callie says, yes, it doesn't mean that Betty signed anything. Remember the statement that Harry supposedly signed. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just like, for a visual, I just leaned back in my seat and almost fell, like, Yes, like when he told that whole lie about, yeah. When William told that whole lie about Harry and that supposed joint statement, recollections not only vary, but apparently paperwork does too. Statements do too. So I can go ahead and say we are, because I remember being ticked at Harry, like, what in the world? You're out here, I'm all upset and you cool, right? Um, exactly, Mama Sherry. Kate had no surgery except for a facelift, says Marsha. And does that beg the question, or are we? Why would they do this? Like, why would they make it so that this could even be a question? Why would they not have? And then you see this frail person who looks like, that they could be a praying mantis. They're so thin, allegedly, and then they show up looking very different. No, nothing to be sorry about. No one tried to access her files. That was to continue the charade that she was in a particular hospital or to go get sympathy. So you think it was them, because if there's no record at the hospital, they're not doing surgeries on the Princess of Wales and not having any electronic record. That's not happening, right? And they're going to be so careful. They're going to be, they know people in the hospital, there's a surgery schedule that happens and it's on a board somewhere that, and it's written that this person had this and they're in A or B or C or D, whatever the room letter or number is, 2274A. So there is documentation by even, people who saw her in the hospital. And we didn't see any of that, right? Mary Mann says, Professor Zinzi and all other squatties here gathered. Hello, Mary. Charlotte says, Copy Kate. Yes. Hello, Copy Kate. And to feel like the pressure to be beautiful to the point that you would allegedly not tell the truth to your society, and then to have that possibility, whether it's 10%, 20%, 25, as it creeps towards like a 25%, I think it creeps towards 100%, because if there's a 1 in 4 chance of something being found out and people are persistent enough, that thing is going to happen. You're not going to be able to protect people, like your information, if you will, from everybody, right? So there's that whole thing. And so, like, what is the possibility that the truth will out in the next year, in the next 5 years? TMZ on the case. I know they are, right? I guess the picture that we sketched of her by African woman was a forewarning for today's appearance. Maybe the woman did see her and did sketch her face that she saw. Hey, Colette. Oh my goodness, Mary. Loch Ness will rue the day, and playing this game, she is now the gone girl. Ooh, the cried wolf part? Yeah, what do you do if you're out here just like being reckless and not telling the truth? And you don't tell that you lied about your surgery, allegedly, right? If that happens, did you, again, Kendrick Lamar, are you giving us anything to believe in? Like, why will people care? Will they care if you're not giving people anything to believe in, right? So I think that those things are valid questions, if you will. And let's see, didn't AP say that nothing from KP, BP, or BP should be treated like Iran or North Korea? I don't understand, like, how, and it feels like, though, too, in the United States, I think right now, that there is a veil of protection that's around her, and you see a lot of the same things repeated, although you have some brave people, doctors and others, who will come on and say, this don't add up, right? This does not add up. Maybe she, Karen, oh my, oh, yes, potentially. Mary says, Kate fighting to hold on to be queen, but Wills is desperate to dump her. Mary says, space between Kate and Wills. Kate appeared more engaged than with Charles. And Charlotte says, copy Kate. Oh, elle fait même les dents. Um, and then I can't see all of yours, Marsha. I'm gonna give it a second, but I'll start it. Poor George, he looked so miserable. Oh, there it comes. When little he smiled all the time. Charlotte looked somber too, and Lewis may have been on a prescription. Something is up with the kids, and that makes I can't see the rest. Oh, that makes me nervous. That is, yeah, that's wild. Hello, Gwen. Thank you for putting those emojis up, guys. Squatty's hi, Kate with the facelift. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It is that, and we're supposed to what? Like, are we supposed to, I'm going to go on to the next picture. Like, what are we supposed to do when we see a person looking like the left and then they come up like, girl, you look good. What kind of cream you using, right? And the hair is so shiny on the right compared to the left. In my, at least on this here too, like, look at that fresh face. It's not only the suntan, because we see almost the same color in the bottom right, but she looks a bit more washed out in the top photographs. But that middle photograph, she just looks like it was 10-15 years ago. Look at that. Just looking stunning. Doesn't look like the C word to me. Oh, we have our Duchess up there too. Like, how to put her up there. So Gwen Daniel Marshall, absolutely. The whole family looked miserable. And I didn't like, I saw a couple of pictures of, on sites that I didn't click on that talked about, that Louis stole the show, if you will. And of course they're going to say that. Let that be, I'm not going to go too far, but let that have been Lily. Would she have been stealing the show? We know absolutely not. If that were, Archie, would he have been stealing the show? No, they would have been half-raised kids whose parents suck, if you will, likely if they have. Because even the kids, like, you're starting to see more reporting in the media around these babies. Like, dude, can they go to kindergarten? Can they go to preschool? No, you're gonna, like, say all of these things. And yeah, but the pictures I saw, Jeanette, of her, she was smiling more than any of the royals. I'd be smiling too if I came out looking like 10, 15, 20 years, at least 10, 15 years younger. And like, what's in those bags? Like, can I get a bag of that? Right? And Kate is skinnier than a stick. No, yeah, no curves. Do you think that, I wonder if William likes her that thin, right? Maybe. Callie says, I can see the differences clearly now. I made it home to see it on the TV. Oh, okay. And so, yeah, so when we see her, there's our girl again in California, just like, she is chilling. She is like just doing her thing while, they are invoking her name to get clicks. I don't understand how on all of these articles that still tell lies on our Princess, Duchess, Queen, how do they still get clicks off of all the lies that they tell? Like, it can be like a 5-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old lie, and they still are getting clicks around it, right? And so I'm going to go back to, to some of the things that I wrote for today's episode. So I had some questions. What societal pressures contribute to the stigma surrounding cosmetic surgery? That's one. In what ways do public figures face greater scrutiny about their appearances? Why might Why might Kate feel compelled to hide her potential cosmetic procedures? Like, we can answer. Mary says they let Kate out of the house. I'm sorry. Palaver Girl says it's weird. They're always trying to shush Louis. He's behaving like his age and restless. Let kids be kids. Absolutely. But they dress them up like little adults and they tell them to sit there and they don't give them like fidget spinners and stuff or whatever, right? Marshall says, Kate's new face isn't going to bring her husband back to her. Yeah, Willie has so much disdain for her. We can all see it. And how much that be to like feel your partner wanting that much distance between you? Jeanette says, and William seemingly kept his distance from Kate, maybe instructed to do so. Mary says, Wills can't stand to be next to Kate. That's like, I would just, you guys know me, I'm like, forget it, I'm out. So here's something that I have from the Sun. A report from the Sun also suggests that Kate might have undergone cosmetic procedures. They quoted an anonymous insider who said, Kate has always been conscious of her appearance and wanted to make some enhancements. This again highlights, the scrutiny they say that she faces. I don't know that there's a whole lot of scrutiny right now. So, so James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. This calls on us to confront the societal pressures that drive individuals to conceal their truths. Are there societal pressures that would cause her to conceal her truth? And can we justify it by saying that it was a societal pressure? Can we justify potentially lying to the public about things that are serious? Callie says, in my opinion, nothing she does will get swayed. Sorry, doesn't appeal to her. Sorry, that disappeared. Yeah, so, has she been shamed, or does she just feel that way based on the way society deals with people who have surgeries? And what are the potential emotional and psychological effects of public shaming? I don't know that we're doing that, but I definitely know that it's been done to Meghan. How does James Baldwin's quote, nothing can be changed until it's faced, deal with her scrutiny? So, the Telegraph also hinted at Kate's possible cosmetic enhancements, citing sources who observed significant changes in her appearance. This persistent speculation forces us to question the impact of public opinion on personal decisions, right? Again, if it were our Duchess, they wouldn't be saying it exactly in that way. And, so on this podcast, we delve into the contrasting treatment of Kate and our Duchess, Princess Queen. How does Kate's potential deception about cosmetic surgery compare to the relentless scrutiny and racism faced by Meghan? How does that compare? Willie doesn't like her. It doesn't seem like it. It's glaringly obvious that the media often portrays Meghan negatively, focusing on her race and her background, while Kate is given a pass for similar or even more dubious actions, right? And so we've seen this for years, and we can talk about Avocado Gate. We can talk about, anything like, when Kate is copying Meghan's fashion, allegedly, she's paying homage or they have the same style. Meghan is never given that kind of treatment. Meghan is always treated as if she is somehow an outsider, and not in a positive way. And the difference in their treatment speaks volumes around societal biases. Meghan has been subjected, as we know, to harsh racist criticism, whereas Kate is frequently excused or overlooked, especially after Meghan entered that family. I think before Meghan entered the family, Kate was not treated as well as she's treated today. They would call her things like Lazy Katie. The Queen allegedly said that she was work shy and things of that nature, right? So, so when I think about it, I think about Kendrick Lamar's words, obviously, and it relates to the Sussex Squad, where he says, I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Meghan's strength and resilience in the face of adversity highlight her inner royalty, despite the external criticism, right? Because she got royalty inside her DNA. Callie says, cosmetic surgery is no shame. Just be truthful and move on. The lies say if you're lying about one thing, what else are you lying about? Yes, absolutely. That's what I think. Yes, thank you, Callie. Mary says, will Kensington Palace break never complain, explain protocol, and denounce the plastic surgery stories? Do you think they would do it for her? I don't know. The brain will always stay empty. Hey, okay, I see that. Lots of hearts. Yes. Yes. I think that if the conversation gets to fever pitch around the alleged plastic surgery or other cosmetic treatments, that they might come out. And I don't think that if they do come out and say it, that it will be deleted from the royal website. It may stay on the front page to remind us all, allegedly, that we are being terrible people by saying this about a person who potentially has the C word. Right? That's what I think. I think that that's what will happen. From the beginning, Karen says, I said she had a mental breakdown from the pressure of her jealous for Princess Meghan, not the other thing they're saying. I still believe that even more. The truth will come out. We see like something that looks like jealousy, and it also looks like I want to be adored, right? Like a longing and a jealousy maybe simultaneously. Why don't they like me? Why do they, everybody thinks she's so great? And inside a family, some siblings are, when we walk outside of our homes, we're often treated either people like us better or less better than our siblings. Like, oh, your sister's so much fun. Why can't you be like her? Your brother's so much whatever. Why can't you be like him? Or, this one was so smart. This one was so this or that. And so even in families like that, but when somebody's just a star, you can't deny their star power, I think. And so should we not teach each other that different people get disparate treatment around the way they do good, right? And it shouldn't be disparate negative treatment around things that they're doing that are positive. But if someone's out here like in these streets doing the work, of course they should get a kind of disparate treatment. They should get a kind of better treatment because they're doing the work, and that is what Meghan has always done. And remember, we talked about this yesterday. Can you be, when they wanted to be half in and half out? No, you can't be that. Can't be half in, can't be half out. But can you be 50% of who you are? Can you shine 50% less? Still do 100% of the work because we ain't doing it, right? So Karen says, Marshall says, when Willie kissed Meg on the cheek, he couldn't keep his hands off her shoulder. When he licked his lips while looking at her hair, was about to get a case. Staring at him, Meg's sin has driven him insane. Oh my God. Oh, OMG. I just got like a whole video in my head, Marshall. Let's see. Marshall avec la princesse Meghan a mantecido, n'est pas? George also kept his distance from Kate. That's wild. Meghan does everything. Oh gosh. Iakiva says Meghan does everything better than Kate. Is that a nanner? Julie says Jeanette W. Catherine knows how to behave. She doesn't push in front of William. Yeah, I mean, do you think that she knows that she knows her position is, it's fragile, it is never secure. Maybe it is only secure until like when you're queen. Although it may be secure when you're queen. However, if Prince Charles wanted a divorce from Princess Diana and they had, ascended to the throne, I still think he could have gotten what he wanted, right? I'm not going to be the first king. I'm not going to be the first royal in history, monarch in history to not have had an affair. I mean, that's probably not exactly what he said, but that's the sentiment that I remember when he and, Princess Diana, that came out. Like, I'm not going to be, but then you marry your mistress. Like, what? And so that was a thing. That was definitely a thing, that he wasn't going to be the first royal or, person who ascended to the throne and didn't have a mistress. But also, you got your Anne Boleyn, if you will. And she's not going to get the Anne Boleyn treatment. That's not what I'm saying. She's going to be fine because it looks like he genuinely loves her. So Gwen says Ginger Vinger would have did. We have a troll. I didn't see the troll. Marshar says we have a troll. I hope somebody caught it. Callie, did you catch that? Yeah, so it's wild. Oh, you guys make sure, I know they've said it, but like, subscribe. What else is it? Hit the notification bell, but make sure you like and subscribe, because there are always trolls up in here. I don't understand why somebody would want to be in somebody's house when they didn't like those somebody. I do not understand that impulse. I do not understand the impulse of wanting to go inside of someone's space when you don't like them. That just is so, for what? Aren't there wonderful spaces available for people who align with your values, who will have the same opinion as you? And you have to troll. Why can't you just engage in discourse? The Sussex squad, our members are brilliant. Our members are hardworking. Our members are thoughtful. Our members are compassionate. They're kind. And our members, we're ride or die for the most part. We got loyalty, got royalty inside our DNA. We align with Meghan, period. Full stop. Whatever you use, that's what we do. And so if you want to be in here, chill. Right? So I see the mods are on it. The mods are on it. Yeah. Oh. Thank you guys. Because, if you cannot take us on point by point, so what do? You come in and try to do what? If you cannot diminish what we're saying as far as the way we think, if you cannot defeat the arguments, if you can't, then sit down. You might just learn something inside of this space. You might just learn that we are an amazing group of people. We are an amazing group of advocates. We are an amazing group of scholars. We are an amazing group of warriors. We are powerful beyond measure. We are all that, and we keep receipts. We keep receipts. And so, if you don't agree, if you don't align with, and if you don't want to sit and learn or just chill, why do you want to be in here? Is that not a kind of torture to sit in a space where people do not, and so you just want to spew whatever? Please go away. Just no thanks. Just do something good for your own mental health and take a few deep breaths and go hang out in a space that aligns with who you are better. At least don't hang out in here, because no, sit down, if you will, right? Because you definitely don't want none of a couple of people up in here and a few people up in here. Yeah, on the case, absolutely. So I just don't, and we have had in the squad, in this space, we have had compassion for the Princess of Wales. We have, for the last, like you guys have said, we have been holding it down and bringing her absence to the attention of the world, just in case something untoward happened to her. We don't want that. We want her to be happy and healthy and to live the life that she chooses. We also simultaneously want Meghan, and maybe a little bit more, maybe a lot more. We want Meghan to be able to live a life that is free of trolls. All she wants to do is be left alone, right? You guys know that Leave Me Alone song by Michael Jackson? All that these people have tried to do is to other her. We don't do that here. We see ourselves in Meghan. Can I get an I am Meghan Markle in the chat, guys? Can I get an I am Meghan Markle in the chat? Because we are a loving people, right? And we also believe in Tupac. You know, like some of us have come through different kinds of fires, right? Some of us have had to be warriors in different ways. It's not that that's what we love to do, but when it's necessary, we are warriors for our Duchess. We are warriors for our queen, our princess, all of those things, right? Marshar says, it's so funny. My comments always get under troll skin so much they expose themselves. This is true on Facebook too, LOL. Like McDonald's. I'm loving it. Hey, because if we can make them come out into the sunlight, you know, what happens to trolls in sunlight, right? We never wanted her to have the C word. We would love for her to treat Meghan fair. Absolutely. Thanks for the heart, guys. Absolutely. I am Meghan Markle. Absolutely. Thank you, Callie. Casey, I am Meghan Markle. Gwen Daniel, I am Meghan Markle. Jennifer Clark, I am Meghan Markle. Lakiva McGee, I am Meghan Markle. Charlotte B. Oh, I think you're talking. Le nez de copycat va tomber un jour. My French is very bad. So, yes, I got some more. I am Meghan Markle, Gwen. Casey, did I say that? I am Meghan Markle. Jennifer Clark, I am Meghan Markle. Yes, I think I said these, but I'll say them again. I am Meghan Markle. Right, absolutely, absolutely. We are. This is how we roll. This is how we ride. We ride for her, and don't get us ticked, right? Because we keep receipts. We come with facts. If you want to have a fair debate with us, say what you think. Keep it classy, though. Lydia Washington says, I am Meghan Markle. Yes, love the emojis. Marshar, I am Meghan Markle. I am Marshar. Just call me Michonne, the Troll Slayer. Thank you. Jeanette Williams is clapping. I'm snapping over here. Sylvia Fielder says, I am Meghan Markle. Hey, because like this is what it means to the people who don't understand the squad. This is what it means to show up and love somebody who you ride for. We don't have to bring negativity into this space. We come with compassion and we come to seek knowledge, and we decipher this information that we all have and have a conversation around it, and it makes us all smarter, more informed, better, and we also have a sense of community and a sense of love for each other. We are Meghan Markle. And if you want to be in the space, respect the space. Like, did your mama teach you any manners? Did your mama teach you any manners? Did your grandma? Did your grandpa? Like, did your papa? Did your nana? Whatever you call these people, your auntie, your titi, did they teach you any manners? When you come into somebody's house, you sit down and you chill. If you want a glass of water, ask for one. So I missed that. I'm so sorry. I am Meghan Markle, AK Princess Meghan, says Rosa. I missed somebody's. It says hearts hit the wrong button. Oh, that's okay. Gwen Daniel says, but done with lying. You don't want the dragging to begin, right? Because let me just say this. For the people who choose to be trolls in this space, ain't no dragon like a Sussex Squad dragon, because the Sussex Squad dragon don't stop. And entendre on dragon. You can have a dragon and you can have a dragon. Same thing. If you want to. Ain't no dragon like a Sussex Squad dragon, because the Sussex Squad dragon don't stop. One more time. Ain't no dragon like a Sussex Squad dragon, because the Sussex Squad dragon don't stop. It ain't gonna stop. Like, you're gonna have butt burn when you're done. It's not comfortable. Right? Aben Gwen lies is all they know. Callie said, that was Lydia. Callie says, they are welcome to listen, but they need to keep their nasty comments out of our spaces. Jeanette says, yes, thank you. I am Meghan Markle. Claps, snaps, hearts, right? Love, right? Because we're all love. And this is our home. This is our space, right? This is our safe space that we use to have conversations that help us elevate. If we wanted to be down there with the trolls, we would be in troll spaces. We intentionally create a safe space that is clean, well lit, comfortably furnished, and has plenty of libations, whatever you want. We got nice water, we've got some juice, we got some kombucha, whatever you want, we got it up in here. But please, take your shoes off when you come in this house and respect the space. Lakiva. I'm saying, because like, we got some folks, myself included in here, that can drag, right? We choose to go high on most days, right? We choose to elevate. But sometimes we got time, right? Sometimes we got time. And I will probably never, I think it goes to self-esteem. It also goes to creating chaos. It goes to centering oneself. That is the responsibility of the troll. They want to center themselves in their negativity and become the spotlight. Aw, you got a boo-boo on your knee. Aw, you poor baby. Oh, so sorry. You need the light to be shining on you. Your mama don't give you no hugs, no kisses. Okay. Right? You need to center yourself, so you come in and you try and blow up a space. We see you. So did you get enough attention? Did you get your boo-boo addressed? Right? Because we are here to have a conversation about our Duchess, and we're here to have a conversation about things that have happened in the world that we want to be able to converse about. Right? So I think that we have shined a light on them, right? Or the troll. We've shined enough light on them. But again, back to Kendrick. We got loyalty, got royalty inside our DNA, right? And it is Meghan's strength and resilience in the face of adversity that highlight her inner royalty despite the external criticism. We see what she does, right? We see how she shows up. She, as we always say, draws a map. Just like the ancestors, I don't care, pick one. Maya Angelou drew a map for us. James Baldwin drew a map for us, right? In his almost 7,000 pages of writings for how to deal with hate, for how to deal with, things that happen that are uncomfortable. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. drew a map for us. Angela Davis is still drawing maps for us. Joe Biden is drawing maps for us. We see these people. Jane Fonda is still drawing maps for us, right? We see people doing these things for us, and we can learn from them, and we can decide which path we want to take. But we do know one thing is for sure, that the path that we've decided to take is a path that supports each other and supports Duchess Meghan, right? We see that. This is what we want. We are here. Yes, thank you, Gwen Daniel. We are here. Marsha said, I love going low. It's tasty. Thank you. Yes. Because we are here for Harry and Meghan, full stop, period. We are not here for your mess. And so hopefully you got what you needed. Because we see, how the media portrayal of Meghan differs from its portrayal of Kate, right? Had Meghan been gone that long, that would have never happened, right? And if she showed up with her face looking differently, please, what role do race and class play in the treatment of these two women? We see it's very disparate treatment that Meghan receives from Princess Kate. Why is that? We can speculate. We can say, okay, they intersect around gender, race, they intersect around class. And what is the hierarchy or perceived hierarchy in that space? You can ask us and we would say something different, most likely. How can we address and combat the inherent biases in media coverage? Karen says, I think she wore Princess Meghan's life. They were jealous of her when she was there doing the work. Now she left and still working on her way You still want her life. She said it in 22. She wants to work less. Yes. Like, why? She left, right? Thank you, Karen. She left. She left that island. She gave it to you to do with what you want, what you will. Her light shone too bright. It was warming up the island too much. People were smiling and hugging, and like they were changing. Hugging was becoming part of the culture. We understand that like Harry got a knee squeeze when his mama died, right? But hugging became part of the culture. We saw Michelle Obama go over there. Oh no, she hugged the queen, right? We saw that whole controversy around Huggate. Meghan is a hugger too. People were shining, on their faces were shiny and happy, right? You know, remember the little boy at the high school? She's beautiful in it, right? Oh, he did this to her. He did not. More lies. He just said she was beautiful. And, you know, they were excited when she showed up. And so you want that to stop so that people can shine a light on you doing whatever it is that you do, right? And I don't know what it is that you do. I mean, I see every once in a while you show up, and sometimes you show up with Piers Morgan and you're having a luncheon. We see that, and we see what he's done. And what did he do to you recently? We saw what he did to you a couple of days ago when I was like, what? So is he your ally? And we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. What about your friends? Piers Morgan, you know, who are they? Kevin Spacey? What about your friends? Charlotte B, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Really, really, really do. Love that emoji. I need to be out there jumping like that guy's jumping, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Charlotte. Gwen says, oh, she's talking to Karen. Lakiva says, the UK media followed Meghan too. I can't see the rest, but we know they followed her to Montecito. But the people up there are like, nah, we don't, get off our lawn. Like, we're the 1%. And just like the people in LA, in Baldwin Hills, at Mama Doria's house. Nope, go away. We don't need your money. We don't want your money. We got loyalty inside our DNA. We're loyal to Doria. We are not telling you anything about her. Now go away before we open our gates and our puppies accidentally get out, and these puppies may happen to be pits. Go away. Don't know, like, because, right? The UK media followed Meghan to America. Absolutely. Yes, Professor. Watching Trooping Out of the Colors this morning, and other channels said Princess Kate is the real princess and not a fake Nigerian one. So glad to hear you speak the truth. A fake Nigerian one? Say that to their faces, once, twice, 3 times. They wouldn't say that to those kings when they need some of their resources. If they take away the, like Ghana's taking away chocolate, let them take away the oil, or let them take away heating oil, or whatever they import, and see who the real princess is. Real smoke. I'm viciously passionate, Marshall says, in protecting the innocent and the freedoms of democracy. Absolutely, Marshall. Karen says, in 2022, didn't she say she wanted to work less and spend more time with the kids? Charles didn't like that, but I think she got her way. Claim sick, ask for forgiveness if I'm wrong. Hey, right? Because we understand, we see that disparate treatment in the media. We see like that they will defend the behaviors and the allegations no matter what. And no matter how much good Meghan does and Harry does, we also see that they will turn on them, but then they'll show up at the same places that Meghan shone a light on, right? And act like, oh, it's all fine now because it's us here, right? Oh yeah, we're gonna go over there to that, right? To that space, and we're gonna, celebrate the building of a new building, or celebrate this or that at Grenfell Towers, right? But when Meghan did, oh, she's aligning herself with terrorists. Like, what? Do you know what happened to these people? Do you know what they went through? How dare you? Right? How dare you do that? They did the same thing when Meghan and Harry went to Nigeria. Oh, whose plane did they ride on? How did you build your monarchy? Whose diamonds are in those crowns? Is that Ghana gold I see? Right? Is that Mansa Musa's gold? Where you get that? Where'd you get all of those things? Oh, let's go to the British Museum and see what's in there. Huh. What would happen if we returned all of the things that were stolen from your museums? What would you have left? Interesting. Right? So we see disparate treatment, and yeah, for them to call Baldwin Hills Compton is crazy, Ron says. Yeah. Straight out of, like, do you? And we've talked about Baldwin Hills is the best real estate in LA. Yes, and it's right off Crenshaw. Because when you live in LA, or if you work in LA, or if you travel to LA, you understand that the higher up the hill you go, the better view you have. And we understand that Baldwin Hills, Windsor Hills, those spaces, those places have the best views in the city, panoramic with Olympic-sized swimming pools and Paris-like backyards and stunning, gorgeous, beautiful, best houses in LA. Period. Are in Baldwin Hills. And you want to say Baldwin Hills is just like Compton? Well, okay, then, go to the neighborhoods where the people, lots of people from the Windrush generation ended up buying homes, right? That are being gentrified now, but before, right? And say that. So you always have to have a place where you try and say that's where these animals live. And then you end up trying to take said space away, right? You have to try and dehumanize people. We recognize it. We saw what you did to our Duchess. And we recognize it, and we're not going to take it. You didn't expect for people to rise up in favor of a good person. You thought that we were going to be cool with you maligning her and trying to come up with your own narrative. No. Because she got loyalty, got royalty inside her DNA, right? We see that. And we see your media portrayal of Meghan and how it differs from Kate. We see the role of that race and class play in the treatment of these two women. We see the biases in the media coverage. And we know what lessons that we can learn from Meghan's resilience in the face of racism, right? An article from The Guardian detailed the relentless racist undertones of the media's coverage of Meghan. This stark contrast highlights the deep-seated biases that still plague our society, it said. And so, and in the case of Princess Kate, hold on, Mary says, Karen says, I am Meghan Markle. Love you, Meghan and Prince Harry. Absolutely. Mary says, I believe Kate was indeed sick because she looked quite unwell, physically and mentally unstable with all her grinning. And Callie says, they don't have an original playbook. It's about copying Harry and Meghan, but they fall flat because they're not genuine. Yeah, because, it's like, you can copy me, but you can't be me. Like, you can take this fit, outfit. Like, you can take this fit that I wear. You can try and change your hair. You can try and change everything. But you can't get this inherent swag. You can't walk like me. You can't talk like me. You can't think like me. You can't be me. You can buy a more expensive. You can have a bigger this. But the class does not get exchanged. The knowledge does not get exchanged when you put on my clothes, right? It just doesn't happen like that. Like there's an old saying that I used to say when I was a kid, those hand clap games, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, right? Was that Miss Mary Mac? I don't know, it might have been Miss Mary Mac, all dressed in black, maybe. Anyway, but when you have that thing that allows you to be, and you're just classy inside of yourself, you will know how to go to a thrift store. You will know how to go to a swap meet. You will know how to go to a discount store and put together an outfit that's going to be banging, right? Because it is who you inherently are. You have that knowledge because you've built it because you care. And so no amount of clothes that some people put on is going to change the way that they're perceived. So you can put on my exact outfit, it ain't gonna fit you, and you're not gonna have the swag I have, right? You're not gonna have the walk, the talk, you're not gonna hold your hands, you're not gonna think, because it's not just the fit, but it is the woman in the fit that makes the fit shine. And that's why Prince Harry shines brightly, in my opinion. We saw Harry always be the favorite in the UK, right? He was the favorite. Everybody loved him, right? Because he was lovable. And potentially because he needed love. But he didn't shine as bright. He's never shown as bright as he shines now with his wife, because it is the love that he has for his mother-in-law. I'm going to say that. I'll put Mama Doria first. It is the love that he has for Mama Doria and his wife and his babies, and for the state of California, his residence in the United States. Those things. When he changed his residency, he changed his mind. He's like, nope. And how did that go, over in the UK? I'm changing my residency because I'm done with all that, right? And it's not that I don't love my home country, but y'all ain't nice to me. You have never treated me, since I've gotten with this person, this woman that I love. You've never treated us the way we deserve to be treated. And we don't have to put up with you. We don't have to stay. And I don't care how much you're pining for me and you have a hole in your heart as big as I am, or whatever that thing is that you say. It is not going to make me come back if I understand that you are going to treat my wife in this disparate way. If she's going to be othered, my children are going to be othered, and you're going to be cool with that, to maintain some kind of pseudo hierarchy that you think happens or belongs in the UK. No, because, we do have racism in the United States. And at the same time, simultaneously, though, this society has worked to be effectively flat from classism. There is an up from your bootstraps or up from whatever situation. And it's certainly not perfect, but people in this country believe, for the most part, that they can rise from their circumstances. Neighborhood ain't gonna hold me, right? That we can change our zip code effectively. We have an education system. This is the story of America, right? It is the story of the immigrant who comes to this country. And it is still the story of America, that you can be treated in a certain way and you can achieve if you work hard enough, is the story. Is it perfect? No. And at the same time, the class system it does not compare, it doesn't translate here in the same way that it does there. I know you guys are trying, when you try and come over here and do whatever, but it's not a part of, it's not a function of our society, right? Gwen says, Harry and Meghan are absolutely fabulous and brilliant. They put the work in. They do. Like, just think about, even, you can say, well, child, you can say Invictus. What mind is going to birth the Invictus Games? What heart is going to birth the Invictus Games? We know, we know that it has to be a fertile, beautiful mind and a beautiful heart that even chooses to think about those things, let alone put them into action, put them into practice, right? We understand that Harry has a deep, abiding love for wounded warriors and children, and that Meghan has one for rescue animals and girls and women and so many marginalized people. Put those two together, and what do you have? You have you have two people who align with the world, right? You can't fake that. And they happen to be beautiful, shiny, fashionable, smart, compassionate, kind, people who can cook, people who can play polo, right? People who are athletic. They win. All they do is win, 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 no matter what, right? They're winning because it's what they are ordained to do, ordained by God, ordained by the universe, and endowed with certain gifts They are endowed with kindness, hard work, love for humanity, love for themselves, for their children. And we see the light that they shine. It shines so bright, it hurts my eyes, right? And when we see people like them end up being maligned in the media because you think your faves don't measure up, change the channel. Go to another channel, right? Pretend or encourage, or you create, a charity that they can support or that you can say that they support. You guys in whatever squad that you're in for them. I don't even know that there is a squad, right? Like royalists, I'm not going to call them a squad, but whatever organizations that you create, what does it have to do with us? We formed based on the universal laws, the laws of the universe, said to us, these people who are doing these wonderful things, specifically this woman, is being hurt by all this hate. What you gonna do about it? And we answered the call. Who will stand up and carry this flag for Meghan when she can't? We watched her almost demise before our eyes. We didn't have faux sympathy for her. We didn't have faux empathy for her. We didn't need to. We had empathy for that beautiful woman. And when I say beautiful, I'm not talking about her physical appearance. We had empathy for that beautiful woman that she is on the inside, right? Because that's why we care. That's why we formed. That's why Tina and Michelle said, you know what? And there were so many of us who said, yep, me too. Yes, me too. And if there were 1,000 or 2,000 people in that room on Sunday mornings, there were 20,000, 50,000 more who wanted to be there, who couldn't, who were in church or who were doing something else on those days and would attend when we could. And we'd listen later when we couldn't, because she is who she is. And no amount of trolls is going to do anything to make us not love her. Marshall says, QE2 knew Harry had the traits of a true king, and that's why he was her favorite. I understand that now. When he brought Meghan on the scene, Liz knew they could save the monarchy. The crown will fail. I believe that, yes, Queen Elizabeth knew that. She saw that. And if the monarchy didn't work the way it works, they would be, right? And why not just let them play a supportive role? No, because I want the TV on me. I want the cameras on me. For what? What you doing? Whatever I want. Why are they going to show up? The people are not, they're not being loved on in a certain way. So they're not going to form a hive around you. They're not going to form a navy around you. You have the people. You have all the people because you were first in line. Is that not enough? Harry's doing the work. You don't want to, if you're work shy, allegedly, and he's doing the work, you want the credit for what he's doing. And it has been alleged that they want to try and take Invictus from him. I think Invictus would fail. And then he would have it under another name. Right? Princess Diana used to say, good King Harry, right? Because she knew he was the kind one. And he still is. As he's out here doing all the work that he does. As he's out here being a loving husband and father. And don't leave out son-in-law. He loves his mother-in-law. You can see it. He loves Doria. He loves his mother-in-law. Can you imagine losing your mother at that tender age and then finding a warm, soft place to land? How many times do you think he hugs her? How many times do you think he makes sure that she gets in the car okay? That, how is she getting here today? I'm worried. We're going to send a car. Whatever it is, because I want you here. Kelly says they only want Invictus because it's successful. It's based in the UK, so they think they have a chance, but they don't care about it and they will destroy it. Yeah, because who will line up for them? If it is William on the stage, allegedly at Invictus, and people understand that he took that, what's he gonna do? Put out a letter that says, here's a joint statement. Harry said I get to have Invictus. Nah, that's not gonna happen. Will the Nigerians want to show up? Who will want to show up for these games? The Wounded Warrior. We understand Harry was like working with a lot of people who ended up being wounded. Harry was in danger himself when he was at war. And he ran to the danger, not away from it. That's what he did. We saw him in interviews, at least one where he was like, nope, I'm talking to you. I'm getting, take this off me. I'm taking it off and I'm running towards where my people are. He spells his name M-A-N. I think that was Muddy Waters, my grandpa used to say. I spell my name M-A-N. I'm a man. Sorry. Music is in my soul. So, but, you know, they want Invictus. They want Harry. They want Harry without his love. And how must that be? To know your partner is so great and you hate her? A whole kingdom of people or half a kingdom or whatever it is, whatever that number is, enough. In the millions of people have disdain for her because the media was allowed, was encouraged, allegedly, to do this to her. Oh, we love, no, I remember from the beginning, we all do. The things that happened around baby Archie's birth, the straight out of Compton narrative. And you say that like you think it's an insult. Serena is definitely straight out of Compton. Look what Compton made. Kendrick Lamar is straight out of Compton. Ava DuVernay, the brilliant filmmaker, is straight out of Compton. What do you think it is? It's a neighborhood in a city, right? That you heard about on TV, and you make all of these assumptions based on stereotypes and racism. The people in Compton are loving, lovely, wonderful people. It couldn't have produced Serena. It couldn't have produced the genius of Kendrick Lamar, that is Kendrick Lamar. The genius that is Ava DuVernay, and on and on and on and on, right? But you're so caught up in believing things about people, like a whole group of people. You're good with maligning them. But then you see Meghan and you say she's straight out of Compton. That's no insult to her. Right? She probably got some distant cousins in Compton. A lot of us probably do. Okay? And straight out whatever other neighborhood that you want to malign so that you can malign a people. Get out of here. We are the Sussex Squad. We are Meghan Markle. You cannot do that to us. We are loving people and we understand how to do this thing. If we'll take our coats off and put some Vaseline on our faces and remove our shoes and whatever else it is, or tie our shoes up tight if we need to. We know how. That's not what we choose to do. But pass the Vaseline, like I need some on my face. Like if it's on. Is that what you're saying? That it's on up in here? Like, that's not the way we roll. We are scholars, we are brilliant, and we love the Duchess for who she is. And nobody can change that, except the Duchess. We stand up for her so she can stand up. When she didn't have the strength to stand up for herself, the squad was here and will continue to be here, right? And so, we don't care what y'all say. We don't care what y'all do. Oh, this is, we're going to end soon. This is a preview of tomorrow. Meghan X King Charles. What about your friends? And believe it or not, that's King Charles on the right. I'm like, oh, that's not what he really looks like. But thank you for the emojis. That's King Charles on the right, as Chili. That is Left Eye in the center. Oh, then I'm as Pierce. And that is Kevin Spacey on the left as T-Boz in the group TLC. So we're asking the question tomorrow, what about your friends? Are they gonna be around? Right? Oh, I feel bad about. I don't know. I think they used Chili's bone structure on. They used all of the bone structure of all of the people on these people. So on the three, that's why Charles looks so good because he has Chili's bone structure. But that was what the episode today was supposed to be about. It was supposed to be about Meghan X King Charles. What about your friends? Because we talked about Meghan's friends, and so we want to know. We're gonna compare who are King Charles's friends. And do they serve, like, are they serving the monarchy for for them to be his friends, right? Pierce Morgan never looks I'm sorry, left eye. I'm so sorry, left eye, for that. But yeah, so we got that, and then I had a couple of let's see, shout out Scholar of the Day, Callie Jen, for your tireless work on the pod. Thank you so much. Church Nelly, we understand that you're doing a lot better. May you continue to recover. Upcoming events tomorrow. King Charles, what about your friends? Homework. Continue the work out here in the Sussex Squad streets. Make sure to take care of yourselves, take care of yourselves, take care of yourselves. And we're going to have a Juneteenth celebration that's upcoming on the 19th of June before the Kendrick Lamar concert. That's going to be streaming everywhere. If you're not, I know you guys hear a lot about Kendrick and the people that I really, as a hip hop head, right? And so I'm planning on doing a Juneteenth show. Haven't really looked at the theme or anything yet. If you have any ideas, you can email me at the Sussex Studio Experience at Gmail, and I will answer. I need to fix the email on the regular website because it's wrong. I think it's wrong. But email me at the Sussex Studio Experience at Gmail if you have anything that you'd like for me to talk about. But again, Scholar of the Day, Callie Jen. And then Church and Ellie again. May you continue to recover. King Charles, what about your friends? And homework. I know, it can be hard out here in these streets. Callie, right? And I always considered myself left eye. I was like, okay, I'm left eye. I don't care. Whoever's going to be whoever else, I am that one. So when I see Pierce, I'm like, oh. And the fact that King Charles, like, he looks good on this one. I'm like, can I find another, like, face to put? But that's Chili's bone structure. Oh, please don't call me Chili and say he looks like 30, 40 years younger. Kevin Spacey looks like Kevin Spacey, though. He looks like Kevin Spacey. Yeah, if you saw the picture of King Charles and you see that one juxtaposed, you'd be like, what? That's what they turned that into? Well, okay. But yeah, so Meghan X, that one's tomorrow. King Charles, what about your friends? So you'll see Gwen's like, hilarious, yes. They were looking like the ladies were looking pretty hot. These three, though. But Charles might be pleased with his look, because to me it don't look nothing like the image that I put together. Yeah. So yeah, before you go, I just want to shout you out and remind you again to make sure you take care of yourselves. Still we rise, still we rise, still we rise. And we didn't even really get into our song of the day, but it was Lies by In Vogue. We can't play the music, unfortunately, because that would be amazing if we could, I love In Vogue, but yeah. And so, yeah, we were just going to compare and contrast that with respect to the things that seem a little bit off about the story and the face and all those things and what that means. And we did a lot of that today. So, so yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday. And have the day that you want and the day that you deserve, and that's for everybody. If you're a terrible person and you're in here just trolling, have the day you deserve. And if you're a lovely squatty, and if you're a troll, do some reflecting. We are a great group, consider joining us. Go do some research maybe, or at least consider sitting down. But yeah, so Marshall said I'll be flying. Oh, you'll be flying on Juneteenth. Okay. You'll probably, I can't see the whole thing, Marshall, but yeah. So this has been another great episode. I thank you guys all for showing up. It is a pleasure every time I'm in the space with you guys. I really do appreciate it. If you want to help the podcast, you can, subscribe. We have memberships available. I don't know if I still need to do something else to make that more apparent. We also have, likes. Make sure you like. And I know the mods have been saying that a lot. So make sure you like, subscribe, and if you want to get a membership, but watch older episodes. That's one easy way that you can support the channel. 10 minutes here. It doesn't have to be, if you don't have time, an hour, but 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there can really, really go a long way for helping the channel. So I would really appreciate it if you do that. Again, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow in the Sussex Squad streets. I'm planning on streaming earlier. It just seems like Saturday, lots and lots of people are on early, so sometimes when I see them on, I just don't want to, I'm just that girl. I just don't want to, compete or take up their space, or I just want to try and be fair, because I'm a newer streamer in this space, and I want to, honor people and their work. So, anyway, hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, this is a long goodbye. You guys take care and have a wonderful rest of your day, all right? Ciao.